Interestingly, we can use matrices to solve systems of equations. And one of the ways that we can use matrices is by using something that's called Kramer's rule. Now, Kramer's rule uses a coefficient matrix. And we'll work our way through this. But the thing, you have to pay careful attention to how you set it up. So here we see that we can find the x variable by taking a matrix built of the constant, and this is the first equation, and the y coefficient, and then the constant of the second equation with the y coefficient over the coefficient matrix of just the x and y variables. And so everything's going to be a 2 by 2 matrix. The y coordinate, where you have to be careful, is in this, when we're finding the x value, we use the constant in column 1, and to find the y value, we use the x coefficient and then the constant. And all that's over the coefficient of the variables in the matrix, or the matrix C. So let's set this up into this system of equations, and then we'll go to the calculator and build it. So we could then say that x is equal to the determinant, and we're talking about the determinants of these matrices. So we can say then 37, which is the constant of the first equation, and then 3, the coefficient of y, and then negative 41 and negative 7. So that's our matrix to help us find the y. The y variable will be built this way. We would say the value of the x coefficient and then the constant. Notice how that swaps from finding the x. And then negative 5, negative 41. And then we build our coefficient matrix, C, which is what we're going to divide into each of the, we're going to find the determinant of the C matrix. We're going to find the determinant of them all. But we're going to take the determinant of the x variable divided by the determinant of C. And to find the y, we take the y determinant and divide by C. So let's see, C then is 7. We're just simply taking the coefficients of the variables, negative 5, negative 7. All right, so there's our matrices. And let's move over to the calculator and build our matrix and then find our determinants and then use those determinants to find the x and y value. All right, so here we are. We're at our calculator, and I'm going to input these matrix. I hit second matrix. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to use matrix A to help me determine my x value. So we will build, in this case, we're building a 2 by 2 matrix, so I need to get my dimensions set correctly. And then my values that I had in there were 37, 3, negative 41. Oh, can't use the negative button. I mean the subtraction button. Negative 41 and negative 7. What do you want? I don't care. I don't want anything. Telemarketers, they're annoying. Okay, let's see if I got that. 37.3, negative 41.7. All right, good. So I'm going to hit second quit. I'm going to go back into matrix. I want to establish my B matrix. I'm going to edit. I'm going to choose option 2. And again, I got to set this as a 2x2 matrix. And we determined that to help us find the y-coordinate, we needed to build a matrix of -7, 37. Notice how that constant moved to column 2, -5, and -41. All right, so I got that built. -7, 37, -5, -41. All right, so let's go second quit again, go back into matrix, and this time I'm going to edit matrix C, which is option 3. And I need to build this from scratch, so I got a 2x2. And now we're just going to use the coefficients of the x and y variables. So it was 7, 3, -5, and -7. All right, now I want to start finding the determinants. And I think I first want to find the determinant of matrix C because I'm going to use it to divide it into all the others. So I'm going second matrix. I'm going to math. I'm going to choose option 1, which is the determinant. And I'm going to choose matrix C. I'm going to hit second matrix. I'm going to choose option 3. Close my parentheses. And the determinant for matrix C is -34. I want to remember that. Now let's find the determinant for matrix A, which is going to help us find the x value. We'll finish that off. So I hit second matrix. Again, I want to find the determinant. And this time I'm going to choose matrix A, which is just option 1. Close my parentheses, hit enter. So I got -136, and I'm going to divide it by -34. And so my x value is going to be 4. Now let's find the y value. So again, I'm going to find the determinant, second matrix, go to math, hit determinant. This time I'm going to choose matrix B because that's where I put my information for Kramer's rule to find the y coordinate. Close my parentheses. So the determinant of matrix B is 472. No, I didn't want matrix B. Yeah, I did. 472. Something doesn't look right. Let's go back in and look at that matrix. I may have put some different values in there. Let's look at, we want to edit to, something doesn't look right in matrix B. Oh no, 7, 3, -5, -7. I must not have changed it. Oh no, that's 7, not -7. All right, 737, -5, -41. That should make a big difference. So let's find the determinant of matrix B. Garbage in, garbage out. Let's find the determinant. We want matrix B. Option 2. Close the parentheses. And what's that? -102. And remember my determinant from matrix C was -34, so I'm going to divide this by -34. And that looks better. And so my solution to that system of equation is when x is 4 and y is 3. We're going to do another one, particularly since I messed up there. So I've got my guide for using Kramer's rule, and I've got my system of equations that I need to solve. And so I'm going to set up all my matrix. I'm going to be setting up 3. And so in my matrix A, I'm going to use x equals, of course it's really x divided by c. We use the constant first, 70 of the first equation, then the y coefficient, -5, and in equation 2 I use the constant, and then the y coefficient 7. All right, so that's going to get me through with the matrix A, matrix B, which I'm going to call Y. I'm going to use first the coefficient of the x variable, then the constant, and then the coefficient of the x variable, and then the constant. And that's what I'm going to input into matrix B to help me find the y coordinate. And then for C, I'm just simply going to use the coefficients of the variables, 8, -5, and 9, 7. All right, let's move back over to the calculator. And you could use diagonals on this. You may find it to be just as easy to do that. And if you do, knock yourself out. All right, so we're back on the calculator. I want to go ahead and make my changes to my matrices. I'm going to hit second matrix. We're going to edit matrix A first. It's still a 2 by 2 matrix, but remember I had this set it up as 70, -5, and 3, 7, +7. All right, 7, -70, -5, 3, 7. That looks good. Let's go edit matrix B, which is going to help me find the y coordinate. Going to edit. This time I'm going to choose the B matrix, or option 2. And still a 2 by 2. And this time I've got 8, 70, and 9, 3. 8, 70, 9, 3. That looks good for my matrix B. And let's go back in here and change matrix C. So I'll go back to the edit field and choose option 3, which is the C matrix, still a 2 by 2. Remember, if I'm multiplying, dividing, all that, they got to have the same, well, columns have got to match the rows, but it works for square matrix. And let's see, this one is going to be 8, -5, and 9, 7. All right, 8, -5, 9, 7. All right, now let's find the determinants. And again, I want to first find the determinant of that C matrix, since I'm going to be using it as a divisor. So I'm going to math. I'm going to pick the determinant, back into matrix, choose option 3, close my parentheses, hit enter. So I got 101. Now I'm going to find the determinant of the A matrix and divide it by the determinant of the C matrix. I need to choose the determinant first. Determinant matrix A, close. So we can take that 505 and divide it by the determinant of matrix C, which is 101. You probably pretty much in your head determine that x is going to equal 5. And let's see, now I want to do matrix B, find the determinant of matrix B. Go to math, we're choosing determinant. We'll choose matrix B, which is option. Determinant, matrix B, which is option 2. Close that parentheses. It's -606. So we're going to take that -606 and divide it by 101, which was the determinant for matrix C. And Shazam, y is equal to -6. So the solution for that is x equals 5, y equals -6. And again, if you just got a 2-equation, 2-variable, it's just as easy to either solve it using substitution or elimination, or you may just use the diagonals to find the determinant. Where the determinant, I think, really gets helpful is what we're getting ready to do next, where we got a 3x3, where we got 3 variables, 3 equations. Where we got a lot more math work to do than what we would do on 2 variables, 2 equations.